So you're looking to really level up your English speaking skills.
That's awesome. We've got this deep dive ready for you today. It's based on some really cool advice from a language learning blog. We're going to be talking about stuff you can actually use, not just the same old textbook stuff. Have you ever felt like,
Yeah.
like there's just drowning in grammar rules instead of, actually like speaking English?
Yeah.
We're going to tackle all of that head on today.
Yeah, you're totally right. It's so easy to get lost in the technical stuff, and then you forget about like what you're actually trying to do.
Yeah.
Speak confidently and fluently.
Right. Okay, so let's just ditch the textbooks for a second and think about how we actually learned languages in the first place. We didn't start with grammar drills, did we? We just started by hearing and repeating phrases, mimicking the people around us. And our source really emphasizes this as like a key strategy, mastering those everyday phrases that you use all the time instead of getting bogged down in
Yeah.
complex grammar. What I think is really cool about this is it flips the script on how we usually think about learning a language. Instead of starting with the rules, you dive right in to the practical stuff, like the chunks of language that you'll actually use in real life.
Yeah, and it's how when you learn to cook, you don't start by studying the chemistry of all the ingredients or whatever. You just follow a recipe.
Right.
Get your hands dirty.
And
experience the joy of making something.
I love that analogy.
Yeah.
And it's with language, those early wins really build your confidence and make you want to keep going. So instead of stressing out about the conditional perfect tense, you can practice saying stuff like, can I have the bill, please? Or, excuse me, where's the nearest coffee shop?
See, that's already way more useful than diagramming sentences.
Yeah.
And these are phrases you're going to use all the time, whether you're traveling, working, or just talking with friends.
Exactly. And by focusing on this stuff, you're actually training your brain to think in English, to respond automatically.
Yeah. Okay, so we've laid the groundwork. We're feeling a little more confident. Now, how do we ramp things up? Our source talks about this awesome idea called immersion. Now, before you think I'm going to tell you to book a flight to London, hold on. Immersion can happen right where you are.
Yeah. It's about being around the language all the time, even if you aren't in an English-speaking country. And the best part is you can customize it, make it your own.
Right. Okay, so for example, let's say you love movies. Our source had this great example using Harry Potter. Start by watching with subtitles in your native language. Then once you know what's going on, switch to English subtitles.
That gradual change is key. It lets your brain adjust.
Yeah.
And it's just like when we were kids learning our first language.
Right. And then eventually you can ditch the subtitles completely. It might sound kind of scary, but trust me, it's like magic. Your brain starts filling in the gaps. And then all of a sudden you're understanding way more than you thought you could.
It's like training your ear to decode the sounds and then connecting them to what they mean.
Yeah.
And the more you do it, the better your brain gets at it.
Right. Okay, so we've got our everyday phrases. We're immersing ourselves in English through movies and music, maybe even changing our phone settings. Now get ready for this next tip. It might sound a little weird. Talk to yourself in English.
Oh.
I know. You might think I've lost it, but hear me out.
I'm listening.
This is where the science of language learning gets super interesting, actually speaking. Even if it's just to yourself, activates different parts of your brain than just listening or reading. It forces you to pull up the words from your memory and build sentences. It's like having a practice partner who's always there.
That's a good way to put it.
Now I get it. Talking to yourself can feel awkward at first. But to make it less intimidating, just try narrating your day in English, just little things. I'm brushing my teeth now. I'm making coffee.
Okay.
It might sound silly, but it really works.
You know what I think is really cool about this? It's kind of like that immersion idea we talked about. But instead of just absorbing the language, you're creating it.
Right. So instead of just passively listening to a podcast, you're actually engaging with the language and building your confidence.
Exactly. And the more you do it, the less weird it feels. You'll start to notice yourself thinking in English, even when you aren't trying to.
Right. Okay, so we're talking to ourselves, we're embracing the awkwardness, and our brains are starting to rewire themselves. But for those of you who want to actually interact with people and test out their skills in real life, our source has another great tip. Find a language partner.
That's where it gets really fun. A language partner gives you real-time feedback, helps you practice those conversational skills, and you learn stuff you won't find in textbooks, like slang, all the stuff that makes a language come alive.
Right, and it's just more fun to learn with someone. It's like having a workout buddy. You keep each other motivated.
Yeah.
You celebrate those little wins, and you push each other to reach your goals.
And in today's world, it's easier than ever to find someone to practice with.
Right. There are apps like Tandem, HelloTalk, italki. It's like social media, but for language learners. You get to practice your English, and they get to practice your native language.
It's a win-win.
Exactly.
And it's not just about practicing grammar and words. It's about connecting with another culture and maybe even making lifelong friends.
Right. It's like opening a window to a whole new world. You're not just learning a language, you're broadening your horizons and becoming a more well-rounded person.
Like that.
Okay, so we've got immersion, self-talk, language partners. We're really building some momentum here. But there's one more key thing our source talks about that I think is super important. Pronunciation. It's one thing to know the words, but if you can't pronounce them clearly, it can lead to misunderstandings and frustration.
You're right. Pronunciation is often a big hurdle for people.
Yeah.
And I get why. English has so many sounds that don't exist in other languages, and even the familiar sounds are often pronounced differently.
It's like trying to play a song on a piano with some keys missing.
Yeah.
But our source actually gives a really fun and effective strategy for getting better at pronunciation.
Oh, cool. What is it?
Mimicking. Think about it. We all have our favorite actors, singers, YouTubers, people whose voices we like to listen to. Why not use those voices to help us learn?
Oh, that's so smart.
Right. So pick someone whose accent you like, whether it's British, American, Australian, whatever you like, and really pay attention to how they pronounce words. Focus on the sounds, the intonation, the rhythm.
And this is where the science comes in again. Our brains are amazing at adapting and picking up on patterns. So by listening to those pronunciation patterns over and over, your brain starts to learn them. And your own speech naturally starts to change.
It's like learning to dance. You watch the instructor, imitate their moves, and over time you develop your own style.
That's a great way to think about it.
So turn on that favorite movie, cue up that podcast, and let the mimicking begin. It's time to unleash your inner voice actor and have some fun with it.
And remember, it's not about becoming a perfect copy of someone else. It's about finding a pronunciation style that feels good to you.
Okay, so we've covered a lot in this first part of our deep dive. We talked about building a strong foundation with everyday phrases. We talked about the power of immersion, finding a language partner to practice with, and even letting loose and mimicking our favorite voices. But before we get too carried away with all these cool strategies, there's one crucial element we need to talk about: goal setting.
Absolutely. It's easy to get excited about learning a new language, but without clear goals, you can lose focus and motivation.
Exactly. And our source makes a really important point about avoiding the fluency in 3 months trap. Like, let's be real. Learning a language takes time.
It does.
It takes dedication and a whole lot of patience.
The journey, not a sprint.
Yeah.
And like with any journey, it's good to have a map to know where you're going.
So instead of aiming for this big, overwhelming goal of fluency, break it down into smaller steps.
I agree. For example, you could set a goal of practicing speaking for 15 minutes a day, or learning 5 new words each week. Little steps build momentum and make you feel good along the way.
And don't underestimate the power of actually tracking your progress. Whether you use a language learning app, or keep a journal, or just mark off days on a calendar, like actually seeing how far you've come can be really motivating.
It's like leveling up in a video game.
Right.
Each step forward, no matter how small, gets you closer to your goal.
Exactly. And it's about celebrating those small wins along the way. Did you have a short conversation in English? Did you understand that movie scene without subtitles? Give yourself a pat on the back. You're making progress.
Definitely. Positive reinforcement is so important. It keeps you motivated and helps you develop a good relationship with the learning process.
Okay, so we've covered a lot in this first part of our deep dive, from laying the foundation to setting those SMART goals, but we're just getting started. Stay tuned for part 2, where we'll go even deeper into the art of mastering English speaking skills.
Welcome back to our deep dive on speaking English effectively. We just finished talking about some fundamental strategies, but now we're going to move beyond the basics and explore some really powerful techniques that can take your speaking skills to a whole other level.
I am so ready. What's next on our language learning adventure?
One theme that really stood out in our research was the importance of active learning. It's not enough to just passively absorb information. You have to engage with the language, make it a part of your life.
Right. It's like you can read all the books and watch all the movies, but if you don't actually speak, you're not really putting those skills into practice.
Exactly. It's like trying to learn a musical instrument. You can study all the theory and watch amazing musicians, but until you actually pick up the instrument and practice, you won't develop those skills.
Okay, so how do we apply this to speaking English? What are some ways to make it part of our everyday lives?
Well, our source suggests thinking outside the box a little and looking for everyday situations where you can naturally use English.
Okay, give me some examples.
Okay, so think about something you do all the time, like grocery shopping. instead of just like scanning the shelves. Challenge yourself to read the labels out loud in English. Like look at the ingredients, the nutritional information, even the brand names.
Oh, I like that. It's like turning a boring chore into a mini language lesson.
Right. And there's no pressure. You're not worried about making mistakes in front of
Yeah.
anyone. You're just using the language.
What other everyday things could we do?
Let's say you're cooking dinner. Instead of silently following the recipe, try describing each step out loud in English. I'm chopping the onions now. I'm adding the spices to the pot, things like that.
It might feel silly, but I can see how that would help with fluency. You're not just memorizing words, you're actually using them.
Exactly. And the more you do it, the more natural it becomes. You'll start to catch yourself thinking in English.
Oh, wow. So it's like those micro immersion moments we talked about. But instead of just passively absorbing the language, you're actively creating it.
Precisely. And that active creation process really helps solidify the language skills.
This reminds me of something else our source talked about, building confidence. They said that confidence is just as important as fluency.
Yes. Totally agree. I think so many language learners are afraid of making mistakes, of sounding awkward. But the truth is, everyone makes mistakes when they're learning. It's part of the process.
Right. It's like learning to ride a bike. You're going to fall a few times, maybe scrape your knees, but you get back up and keep practicing.
I like that analogy. And just like with riding a bike, the more you practice speaking English, the more confident you'll become. You'll start to trust yourself more, and you'll be able to express yourself more freely.
And it's that confidence that really lets you connect with people and actually enjoy speaking the language.
It's like they say, fake it till you make it. Even if you don't feel confident, act like you are, project your voice, make eye contact. You'll be surprised how much of a difference it makes.
Okay, so we've talked about active learning and building confidence. Now let's talk about something a little different, learning styles. Our source mentioned this briefly and suggested that understanding your own learning style can really impact your progress.
Yeah, that's such a good point. Everyone learns differently. What works for one person might not work for another.
So how do we figure out our learning style?
Well, one common way is to think about whether you're more of a visual learner, an auditory learner, a kinesthetic learner, or a read-write learner.
Okay, let's break those down. Visual learners, I'm guessing they learn best by seeing things.
Yeah, they might like flashcards, diagrams, mind maps, even watching movies with subtitles. They're processing information through images and visuals.
Makes sense. And auditory learners, they're all
Yeah.
about sounds, right?
Exactly. They love podcasts, audiobooks, music, conversations. They learn through rhythm and intonation.
Okay. What about kinesthetic learners?
They learn best by doing, by moving their bodies, interacting with the language physically. They might like role-playing, acting things out, using gestures while speaking, or even writing things down by hand.
So it's about engaging their senses.
Exactly.
And finally, read-write learner.
Right. They learn best through reading and writing. They might like taking notes, writing summaries, creating their own stories in English, or even translating texts.
So it's all about finding the methods that work for you.
Exactly. There's no one right way to learn. Experiment and see what you enjoy.
And this reminds me of another great point our source made about the importance of actually enjoying the process. They said if you're not having fun, you're less likely to stick with it.
That's so true. Learning a language shouldn't feel like a chore. It should be an adventure.
But sometimes it can feel like a grind, especially when you hit those plateaus or get frustrated with grammar rules. So how do we make it more fun and exciting?
What goes back to personalizing your approach? What are you passionate about? What are your interests? Find ways to connect those things to your language learning.
Like, for example, if you love food, you could watch cooking shows in English, try out recipes from English cookbooks, or even join a language exchange group and talk about food and culture.
Perfect example. If you love music, you could listen to English songs, read the lyrics, maybe even try writing your own songs in English.
Or if you're a movie buff, you could watch your favorite films in English, pay attention to the dialogue, maybe even try mimicking the actors.
The possibilities are endless.
Yeah.
It's all about finding what sparks your interest and keeps you motivated.
Speaking of motivation, our source had some really good tips on how to stay motivated. Learning a language is a marathon, not a sprint.
Yeah.
And it's easy to lose steam.
Yeah, it's true. It's easy to get discouraged when progress is slow.
So how do we stay on track? How do we keep that fire burning?
One key is to set realistic goals, like we talked about before. But it's also important to celebrate your progress, no matter how small.
Right, like those little victories, the
Yeah.
aha moments.
Exactly. Did you learn a new phrase today? Did you have a short conversation in English without feeling nervous? Those are wins. Celebrate them. Give yourself credit. Let that fuel your learning.
Love that.
Another powerful motivator is to remember why you started learning in the first place. What are your goals? What do you want to achieve?
Right. Maybe you want to travel the world or get a promotion at work.
Whatever it is, keep it in mind.
Yeah.
And remember, you're not alone. There are so many resources out there to help you, like language learning apps, online communities, teachers and tutors.
And don't forget about other people. Talk to your friends and family. Share your struggles and celebrate your wins.
Yes, having a support system can make all the difference.
Okay, we've covered a lot in this second part of our deep dive. We talked about active learning, building confidence, understanding your learning style, finding joy in the process, and staying motivated.
And there's still more to come. In part 3, we'll explore some even more advanced techniques and resources to help you really level up your English-speaking skills.
Welcome back for the final part of our deep dive into mastering those English-speaking skills. We've already covered so much. From building that solid foundation to the power of, active learning and celebrating all those little wins. Now we're getting into some advanced techniques, the stuff that can really polish your English.
It's like we've climbed to base camp, and now we're ready to summit that fluency mountain.
Okay, I like that analogy. So what's first on our agenda?
Our source dives deep into pronunciation and accent refinement. We touched on mimicking before. But now it's time to get a little more specific.
Yeah, I'm all for that. I think sometimes we forget how important pronunciation is, as we get better with vocabulary and grammar.
Right. Even small mistakes in pronunciation can cause confusion, especially with those tricky vowel sounds or consonant clusters that might not exist in your native language.
It's like trying to fit a square peg into a round hole.
Yeah, exactly.
So how do we refine those subtle
Yeah.
but really important parts of pronunciation?
Well, the good news is there are tons of resources available now, like YouTube channels dedicated to English pronunciation, apps like ELSA Speak that give you feedback on your accent, and even speech therapists who specialize in accent reduction.
It's like having a personal pronunciation coach in your pocket.
You're right. And as you get deeper into pronunciation, you'll discover this fascinating aspect of language that often gets overlooked, the musicality of English.
Ooh, tell me more.
Think about it. English is full of these subtle shifts in intonation, rhythm, stress patterns. They convey meaning and emotion just as much as the words themselves.
It's like the difference between reading sheet music
Yeah.
and actually playing a piece of music.
Exactly.
Okay, pronunciation unlocked.
Yeah.
What's next?
Our source says, once your pronunciation's improving, it's time to start expanding your vocabulary beyond those everyday words.
Okay, I'm ready to level up my vocabulary, but where do we even begin? English has so many words.
Think about your interests and goals. Are you into science, history, art, business? Focus on vocabulary related to those areas.
So instead of just memorizing random words, we're focusing on words that will actually help us communicate.
Exactly. Read books and articles about things you're passionate about. Pay attention to new words. Keep a vocabulary journal. Use flashcards. Whatever works for you.
And I think context is so important. It's not enough to just know the definition of a word. You need to understand how to use it.
I agree. Pay attention to how words are used in sentences. The more you surround yourself with real English, the more your vocabulary will grow naturally.
Okay, so we've refined our pronunciation, expanded our vocabulary. What else is there?
Our source talks about something that trips up a lot of learners, even advanced ones: idioms and slang.
Ugh, yes. Those can be so confusing. It's like you need a secret of decoder ring.
I know. Idioms are those phrases that don't always make sense literally, but they have a meaning, often a funny one.
Right, and slang is a whole other challenge. It's always changing.
It is.
So how do we even begin to understand idioms and slang?
Immersion is key. Pay attention to how native speakers use them in movies, TV shows, music, just everyday conversations.
So it's like we have to become language detectives,
Yeah.
gathering clues.
And don't be afraid to ask questions. If you hear something you don't understand, just ask someone to explain it.
Right. And I bet context is important too.
Definitely. The same idiom can mean different things, depending on the situation.
Okay, so pronunciation is refined, vocabulary is expanded. We're even starting to understand idioms and slang. We're reaching the top of that language learning mountain. But what happens when we get there?
Well, our source says, even at this level, it's important to keep setting new goals. Keep challenging yourself.
So it's not about reaching a destination, it's about the journey.
Exactly.
What kind of goals should we be setting now?
Think about your passions. Do you want to write a blog in English? Give a presentation. Maybe even do stand-up comedy.
Wow, those are some big goals.
They are. But they're achievable if you break them down into smaller steps.
So big goals, but small steps.
Right. Find resources that can help you. Find mentors or language partners. And most importantly, believe in yourself.
And remember, the journey never really ends.
It doesn't. There's always more to learn.
Well, we've covered so much in this deep dive from the very beginning. to reaching that Fluency Summit?
It's been quite a journey.
It has. And we hope our listeners feel ready to continue their own language learning adventures. We've shared a lot of strategies, so find what works for you, make it your own, and most importantly, have fun.
Yeah, have fun.
Remember, learning a language is a gift. It lets you connect with people, expand your world.
And it enriches your life.
So keep practicing, keep exploring, keep pushing yourself, and never stop believing in yourself.
We're here to support you.
Until next time, keep learning and keep growing.